What's up, alien savages, OG vegan savages, former bloom babies, and we wish you a merry little Christmas. May you wake up a lot in a nice way that feels good. And one day we shall all live in tribe.
And harmony.
With so many animals. To celebrate life. What up? It's a Christmas episode.
Yeah, it is. Can you tell? I mean, it's Christmas for me today.
Yeah, today's the 25th. If you're watching visually, you see we have our costumes. You know, Joe Rogan, he does it every time he has Duncan Trussell, his best friend. They wear like costumes.
Yeah, I've seen this before.
So maybe we also make this a thing. Let's see.
You look so cute. Look how cute he looks. Really? And for some reason he wears them in front of the ears, you know? Look at this.
Oh, you wear it behind?
I wear it behind. I tuck it behind my ears, yeah.
No, I didn't know. No one taught me.
You don't know how to wear a headband?
No.
I got you something else as well for Christmas. How do you feel about this one?
I think I put it on my shirt.
It's so cute on your head.
Apparently in the UK you also celebrate Christmas on the 25th in the morning.
On the 20th, and in the morning, not all day. It's like a whole day thing. Yeah.
I thought it's more American thing, but in I guess all the states that were colonized by America, right? You said
colonized by England.
Oh, by England?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So you're the conqueror.
We're the conquerors.
No, wait, we Germans are.
No.
We Germans. So that's why we're together. Because
we come from the two most evil countries on the planet.
Merge our forces and we might reach world domination. And then we only need to battle out who is the chosen one actually. Oh, but first we get world domination and then we figure it out because it's me all along. Okay, let's switch the subject quickly.
Okay. It is Christmas. It's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Talk about, I haven't poured the tea yet, my love. You say something funny whilst I pour the tea.
Yeah, so while I was on my Christmas yesterday evening, because we Germans celebrate on the 24th, going home, first going to the food court in Tongsalar, amongst all these mainstream tourists and all lost souls like me, getting Christmas takeaway food and coming home with takeaway food of like this brown rice with like, it's really good, this fried rice that they make healthy anyways, coming home and playing World of Warcraft, playing Battlegrounds, feeling really cozy, eating some chocolate. I know I didn't feel so good yesterday, like physically. I had like a really nice day at the waterfall and I was really awake yesterday, and the last days were like really wow, like really active and social and synchronicity externally. So yesterday it's like, I need to like lay down. It just is what it is these days. But Faye, she went out and now tell them, because it was so magical what you shared this morning.
It was a really beautiful evening. Well, I really wish that you came. But I trust, and you didn't feel well and all was good. Yeah, I almost didn't go as well. I was feeling, really burnt out yesterday. I was running around and going to rehearsals and getting my mom's Christmas present ready. And there were many things. And I fell into this habit of rushing. You know, this habit when you start rushing and you just lose all your... Anyway.
Faye made her mom an amazing gift.
I did. Oh, I did. Where did I put it? It's around the corner. Okay. So I wasn't feeling it. What's
around the corner?
My thing to my mama. It's like, I thought it was just here. I was going to put it on the camera.
But you want to tell them?
What I made her?
Yeah, or not?
Well, I can show them.
It's okay, then I get it and you tell them.
I draw... I feel like a kid in show and tell in school, you know. I'm like, so for my mom, I drew me and her, and I wrote her a nice little. Actually, I drew me as a baby. Look at this.
If you're watching visually, it's so cute.
This is me as a baby, and this is my mom my mum is such a beautiful being in all of the ways. God bless my mum. She's such an incredible being. And I wrote here, it says, Merry Christmas, Mama. And yeah, just like a little note about how she's my guardian angel and I love her so much. So I wanted to get her a special present, because I'm not in England for Christmas this year. And I'm pretty sad about that, actually. I might be a little bit sad today. Yeah, because they're all over there celebrating and me and my family are really close. So
Yeah, because it always brings up things,
Mm-hmm.
Like also yesterday, it like brought up a lot of things. But yeah, I just
For you?
yeah, but it's like I'm
How
having
were
such
you
a
feeling
sober observer lens, and I just
Mm.
like if I start thinking negatively about it, it's because I created. Like nothing else externally is negative. It's all me, and knowing that, why would I be like, oh? Because then I also, if I have the sober observer lens of like, yeah, it's simply not aligned anymore. It's not resonating. Otherwise, I would be there. I'm in perfect resonance. I'm in perfect alignment, exactly where I'm meant to be right now. And these other places served me in the past, like with my family, for example. But it's just not this anymore. And now it's not resonating. So I don't want to be there right now. And I'm always coming back to gratitude, how amazing this was that I got to experience this. Like coming from a family with money and getting all the Christmas
Tell
gifts.
me about your favorite Christmas present ever.
Yeah, like by
what's
being
the one
a
you
spoiled
remember?
kid and we're getting it all. Like I literally got everything.
God, my love, isn't
So,
he? Yeah, but do you have one Christmas present you just really remember, or like a Christmas memory? What's the first one that comes to you?
My mom just really manifested magic in a sense of, I believed like the Christ children, like we call them Christkind, like these angels, and they like deliver their Christmas gifts, and like I believed into them. And Santa Claus
doesn't deliver
like
Christmas gifts
Santa
for you.
Claus, he comes on the 6th on your birthday.
Oh yes, my birthday is the Santa Claus
Maybe
day.
you were Santa Claus.
I do consider myself a little bit of a Santa Claus.
Yeah, so I believed in Santa Claus, I believed in the Christ children until I was like 11 or so, and then my mom broke it to me because she was afraid that the kids make fun of me, because when you're like 11 you go to a higher school, and then no one was believing it anymore. Yeah, and I would still believe in it, but then I was also like, yeah, whatever, at least I get presents,
Yeah.
But before that I was like writing the wish list, and there were like things I just threw on it, like for my dog Schnuffy, like my stuffed animal, I threw him this amazing palace bed, and she just went to our neighbor who like works with woods, like with materials, and he built this, It's like in German it's like a Schreiner who like works with wood. What's the word?
A woodworker, I guess.
I'm
A
sure
carpenter?
I don't know there.
I don't know.
But he built it, Like he built this fancy bed for my stuffed animal Schnuffy.
But wait, your mum took a drawing that you made.
Yeah.
And she got someone to make it?
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I just
wow. Shout out to Mama Beck.
I was just cutting out like shoes and drawing like wheels underneath, or maybe I found these shoes with wheels underneath, like Heelys, but they weren't a thing in Germany. So she ordered them, I guess, from the States, and then I was the only kid like in my school that had like Heelys.
Yeah, I do.
And I was the only one, and I was like, it was so cool.
Wow.
It was so cool. So like,
wow,
how can
she took the things from your imagination and brought them to life. That is amazing.
And how couldn't I believe in like Santa Claus and stuff when literally like she created this magic, and she was like, there was no, like she took it so seriously that she wrote all the things on our lists down, like we made it like really nice and put it out, and then she threw it away. That like we don't find it in her stuff. That it's like really Santa has it now, or like the Christ children have it now.
Wow.
And then when she was like storing the gifts, she like really hid them well, and was only like wrapping them together when we were like sleeping to like leave no trace. And then our neighbor came and like was like ringing the bell outside, and it's like, oh, the Christ children have come. And then I was really like, oh, is someone hearing something? And then like the bell, I'm like, oh, they're there. Because on Christmas Day, like the 24th, the room was locked. And it was really magical.
Wow.
And then there were so many gifts.
Yeah.
So many gifts. So yeah,
wow,
but
shout out to Mama Beck. That is amazing.
now I want to talk about you.
No, I was about to say, you know, like, cheers. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I remember the day that I found out that Santa wasn't real. I was so upset. My God, I was so upset. Actually, I have an issue with this whole Santa thing. How do you feel about it? It's like lying to children. For me, I know it's a little bit of a exaggeration maybe, but I feel like it's one of my biggest traumas, actually. Being told this thing all my life, and even to the point, like my mum is amazing, bless her, but I remember saying to her, look, I don't think that Santa's real. You know, like a kid, and coming and saying, I don't think who is this like big man that's supposed to come down my chimney? Why don't I hear him? Why do I never see him? Like, I had questions.
So how old were you? How old
I was
were
maybe
you?
8
Okay.
or 9 or something like this. And I remember being sat, I remember the exact position. And you know it's a traumatic memory when you remember everything. I remember where I was sitting. I remember who was around me. And I remember saying this to my mum. I don't think Santa's real. You know? And like poking her a little bit. I don't think he's... And she said, bless her, you know, she said, yeah, but like, you better be careful saying something like that. You know, he might not bring you any presents if you go about telling people that he's not real. And I was so upset. I cried like a baby all night. And I said to him, do you think Santa's going to be mad at me? I'm so sorry. Like, I felt like I was denying the existence of God or something like this. I remember thinking, oh, this kind man has been bringing me presents. And I'm just saying that he's not real. Oh, and I just felt so bad. I felt really, really, really bad. And then I found out the bastard isn't even real, you know? And I felt lied to. I felt betrayed. And it's like, to be honest with you, this was the moment for me that magic broke.
Wow.
The trust in magic died in this moment. Yeah, because, you know, when there's so much magic surrounding something like this, and then you're suddenly told that it's not real, and the crack in trust that like this creates inside, it was really, and not until I was, maybe 25, that I realized that magic is in fact very real. Maybe there isn't a big fat man that comes down my chimney, but it is very real. But this is like, I'd say, one of my most traumatic Christmas experiences.
Wow. Yeah, for me, it wasn't like that. I also like vividly remember when my mom told me that it's not real, that it's her. Like we were like in front of MediaMarkt in Munich. It's like the store where we buy electronics. Because I guess she was like also shopping with us, our Christmas gifts. And my siblings already knew and were like, oh, they're making fun about him, so let's tell him. So I remember it. And then for a moment I had this like, oh, like, but then it quickly shifted because I always knew magic is real. And I just was happy to like, yeah, but it doesn't change that I get like the same gifts, you know? If yeah, I don't know, maybe that's the masculine. As a boy, like, if it wouldn't mean I wouldn't get the gifts, fuck the magic, but I want the gifts, you know? I got just so many presents and I was just so excited because they were like a big way in my internal reality of like my imagination and getting all this like Lego and Playmobil and all these worlds I was opening up and could play so vividly in abundance because I had like worlds, you know?
Right.
And I just always knew magic is real. Like I always knew it. And so I wasn't even so fond of like these stories of like the Christ children. I'm more like these.
I don't even know anything about that.
These castles and wizards I built and dragons, you know, of like Lego and Playmobil. These are the world I was like immersed in. So it never like, but it's sad to hear or what is sad, but that you
remember it so vividly, you know. And I remember, like I used to speak to the fairies in my garden a lot as a kid. Whenever I was outside, I'd always speak to the fairies. And I remember a specific moment of going out to this. It was like this empty, broken pond that we had in our garden that had no water in it, but it was just this really magical spot, and it had this beautiful willow tree cascading over it. And I used to go there to speak to the fairies. I had my spots, and I remember going and speaking to them and saying, you know, like, does it mean that you're not real too? And it was really it was very
So you got sucked in the matrix early Whereas the funny paradox is my family is really matrixy, but my whole childhood I was protected to never be sucked in until I like moved out and then was like in the army and then moved to Berlin myself, and then I had to like figure it out and saw the system for what it is. But really until then, I like the spell wasn't broken, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
But you got here, so...
I got there eventually.
Yeah,
and
so
actually,
you needed it,
the guy who
apparently.
brought magic back to life with me was a guy who really looked like Santa.
Yeah, he's cool. The cacao guy,
The
right?
cacao guy, Keith. Yeah. With the most average name in the world. Good old Keith. Yeah.
Yeah, so now I want to come back to your story. I was just like, you know, always when someone speaks, I get like so many downloads. What was just coming to me was that...
Yeah, go with the moment. What's up?
That, you know, my family is really matrixy, so I needed to be protected to like be my own magic world because I didn't have anyone, like, they were all like living in this fake world, you know, like living in the system. And your mom is already such a, you call her guardian angel, already so, so tapped in. And then the people that came in your life, you know, I didn't have that so much. I was like the one that was like pushing that, you know. I was like finding Bashar early and stuff, but I was like the embodiment. I didn't have like people in my life so much. So I feel like I got so cocooned, so protected that I never really got sucked in. So I could be that for others, you know. And I feel like you had to like get sucked in, but then people came, and your mom is already such an angel and pretty woke and stuff. So this was just coming to me, but this is all blah blah, you know.
It's not all blah blah. It's like really, really significant.
But I
and I think that there was a crack in the belief in magic for like, you know, what a beautiful story to separate yourself from the belief in magic and for the belief in wonder and imagination and all of this, to be able to come home to that when it's such a big part of who I am. My God, it's such a big part of who I am.
Yeah.
Magic and wonder and the imagination. And of course I created that for myself, you know? I was separated from it so that I could feel the joy of coming home to magic again and coming home to really feeling and this like, oh my gosh, just the thing that I'd wished for most in my life was actually true. Magic is real, maybe not in the way that I understood it when I was younger, but definitely in the way that I feel in my heart. And actually I do have, magic for me is truth.
It's just a norm.
Truth for me, when I feel magic and when I feel the frequency of magic, for me what I'm doing is I'm actually tapping into truth. I'm tapping into life. I'm tapping into what is up, because we've been numbed by how fucking magical all of this thing is. You know, we give things names. We're like, that's the sun. That's the sun. That's the moon. It's like, no, look at the sun. You know, it's like a big fiery ball of gas and fire. Like, what is it? And how do we even know that it's that? Sometimes when I look at the sun, it looks like a hole in the sky, you know? It looks like, I don't know, like a portal to another place. And when I feel that frequency of magic, and when I bring magic into especially the mundane things that I'm doing, I'm tapping into truth. This is the nature of reality. It's magic. And when we're actually present and we're really in the moment and really receiving life, the truth of what life is, this fucking miracle that we're living in, you know? Mm-hmm. It's insane when you actually really drop into what that is. It's magic. It's magic. It's not some, phantom thing that people can either believe in or not. It's truth.
You want the alien definition of magic?
Give it to me, darling.
So... magic, miracles, it's the norm. Everything is. And in order to have this like limited experience, because this experience is amazing, being a human, and it's only possible through those limitations. And everything is a reflection. So we limit us that our magic is normal because we got used to it. Like if you take a Neanderthal and give him like, put him now on Times Square, and for like 10 minutes he's like, what? Like they're all looking at these things and there's like all these lights. For him it's all magic, but we're like it's normal what it is right now. And they're like, some of us, the way showers like us, for me, this world is so retro, you know, like I go to the airport or I see my scooter. It's like when you, like these postcards of these like old cars. This is like the airport. It feels so weird. I'm like, I'm in a retro world because I'm a way shower of embodying the new first to show others it's safe, to create a new normal. So I'm crazy first. So it's always, everything is a reflection to our belief system, and we are really limited. So the magic is like really limited to the 3D. Oh, I touch this button and then through the wires I can all intellectually build it with my hands, and this wire I fix it together and there's light. And we like, it's amazing what we like created there, but it is like really limited, you know. And now shifting into a less limited world by like getting in touch with our belief system and working them through, transforming our fear-based beliefs. And then we get that reflected. And it's like Bashar says it always so funny because he's like, oh my God, it was so synchronistic. And Bashar's like, oh, it's just like how the mechanism works and you're still acting surprised. Oh, you follow your highest excitement and you shift in a reality that is magical. Like, why am I living here in Thailand? Why are you my girlfriend? Why do I like live a magical, abundant, rich life? Because I am myself actually, and get that reflected. And I like work through my limiting fear-based negative beliefs. So magic miracles are just the norm. And if we already like already my iPhone, like sometimes, like mostly it's retro for me, but also it's just like does all these things. Like how, you know, it's like so magical.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, we are creation, we are abundance, we're unconditional love, which contains everything. And out of this highest frequency, it already entails everything. And to get a tangible experience, we start somewhere, limit ourselves, and get that reflected. And we're coming out of such a limited time. Like if we look like to our older civilizations, linearly speaking, like Atlanteans and Lemurians and Egyptians, they were like so much less limited, and they could just like move stones by willpower and like drumming the heart vibration and get into a trance, and it's just like really moving matter collectively and everything. And like free energy, like all these stuff, you know, like that we're like now discovering, because we picked like the toxic masculine way of like 3D tangible and then destructive, like really like not in alignment, but just really weird, you know, like combustion engines. You have to like blow something up to throw something forward, so you create like dirt, like it's all like on this like heavy vibration where you create destructive things that are like polluting the environments. But once you like wake up to, and then you just like you get gravity, and then it's like every spaceship has like their own gravity field, where, you know, you take like a bowling ball on a mattress and then you put your foot down. What happens? The bowling ball rolls to your foot. So every ship, they're just like falling because they're their own gravitational field. But it's like, we're just such babies, you know? And still, I'm just like on a rant here, am I? So I think I stop.
Darling, we've spoken about this.
Okay.
They love your rants. Love.
Okay. But just like the last sentence is, I'm not so interested in the masculine, which means the explaining it all, because the thing is, it just is. Like, you can break down how like Pleiadian spaceship works. You can explain it all, but do you actually want to, you know? Or because it just, you can just enjoy it, you know? Like when someone is like really in the flow state of like making music, you are so good in this. You're like fully in your feminine, making songs. You just channel them. And others come from the masculine of like, they first make like all these structures around and then find God through like science and like all these more masculine things. Whereas you can just like channel it freely and like, yeah, who cares about how a spaceship works and a gravitational field when it just like matches my vibration because I reclaim my sovereign nature. So people then sometimes think you need to be super smart to, no, you don't. Like, we're all super smart. And you just need to like not be in the way, actually. So yeah, rant is over. This is a big power in Faye. Like, I feel like you sometimes hold yourself back because other people come from a more like structured approach. And you're like, oh, I don't, like Faye, she plays the piano. She doesn't know how to like she doesn't play it with notes. She
I don't
just
know how
like
to read
find the
music,
keys. She literally hears a song and she finds it immediately and wow, like you're too big to be put in any box, because it's like, for me, reverse engineering, like, I put all these structures around it, and out of the structures I know, just like, have a solid framework, but then like allow yourself to like.
Yeah, it's really interesting to find the balance with that. Especially, I mean, I first started playing music, 5 years ago or 5? My God, I don't even know what year we're in. Like 6 years ago now. Wow. I first started playing music 6 years ago, and there's a reason that I didn't play music growing up, because it was so boring. Music lessons were boring. I tried a piano lesson once, it was boring. I tried some drum lessons for a little bit, it was boring. Everything about music was so boring, and I didn't understand why people loved it so much, and the way that people were doing it, right? And we had this beautiful grand piano in my house. It was passed down from someone on my dad's side of the family. And I used to just go and sit at this beautiful grand piano and just make sounds, you know? And I would listen to songs and just play songs that, as I would listen to them and find them on the piano. And this, for me, was the fun way of doing it. And I've been so lucky in the sense that every form of creativity that I have, drawing, I've never learned how to draw. I've never learned how to play anything actually officially. Obviously, as time's gone on, I've learned that this is A minor, this is C minor, and things like this, but went into it not knowing anything about music. And this has been such a gift, because it's meant that, for me, more truth can come through. And don't get me wrong, I do think that boxes and structure, they do serve. But I think that they serve in giving a container for this like pure to come through. You know, the good shit, that feminine chaos, that expression of God to come through in a way that gets more refined. Like now I'm thinking maybe I should learn how to read music. But now that I've already got opened this space to really allow whatever needs to come through, to flow through, then it is good.
Like these days I see energies more than anything, and I see like literally always visuals. So about this, I see like this woman that is untamable, uncontainable, and she's just like whatever she wants. Like she's dancing and then she's like, sure, replicate it, make a container around it, make a frame, make a room around it. But what comes first, you know, is like, and what is like the higher potential? Like this is where I see often someone really woke, does something, and then people replicate the formula of the structurable, the tangible things. They copy it, but they're lacking the wokeness. They're lacking the light. They're lacking the spark. So I really see this visual of this huge woman breaking everything around her into like fireworks, and it's just dancing, express. Like I saw this so often on DMT, literally.
Beautiful.
And she shapeshifts. That's the shapeshifting. She shapeshifts into anything because she is everything.
The green woman?
No, this is just like so on DMT. I see so often, basically always, how everything is consciousness. Everything is unconditional love. This is there's
That's
nothing else but the fabric, unconditional love, and it is perfect. Like it is the golden ratio. You see it in everything, you know. And on DMT, I see how everything is consciousness, and there is this consciousness, like pure consciousness, and it shapeshifts in whatever it wants. It's everything. This is where, like, when we go deep into metaphysics, it's like crazy that there is only one moment, which is now, and there's only one object. And out of this, the infinite worlds are created, but it's all one, it's all here and now. And this can be like, and is because it's like it's abundance, it's like infinite. And out of this you can create the infinite. It just is. And this is, it's so beautiful. I saw it so often. It was like this black woman dancing, and around it we can make frames. And it's important in this world because we have a limited human experience, and in order to experience a grounded reality where you still belong to society, because I believe in money. If I don't believe in money, I'm like quote unquote too hippie, where I like live on a tent at the beach. I don't want it. So it's all beliefs. So I do buy into societal beliefs to live a grounded, healthy life where I also have one foot in it because I want to change this reality, like the consensus agreement. I don't just want to live my own reality. I want to like belong to this. I'm a human. I commit to this timeline. And that's why these frames are really powerful to like in the gym and everywhere to like build like, okay, I split my training in this and then today I do upper body, and in this upper body training I can fully flow, but I have a container around, so I don't even, because in the gym like, that you get out of your head, that you have like this is my frame, I do upper body. So I do a push and a pull exercise, both vertical and horizontal, and those 4 exercises are my frame. So I don't need to think at all because there are like so many things happening, like so many people, so I know what I do. But in this, I fully like in my feminine. I'm fully, and then if I'm like, oh, what do I do next? Now I did a horizontal push, now I do a horizontal pull exercise. So these frames are amazing to have a crown. It's like when you take psychedelics and you're sometimes like, shit, like you don't know where to put yourself, you know? So that's why it's so nice to have like healthy habits, like all, I talk a lot about that. But it's like, now I got so big that it's like all happening at the same time. It's really funny. It's like, it always comes back to flow state, you know? Because it's like being in perfect balance. You just know what's good for you in the moment, and you do it at the same. Like what? Anyways,
I love this diagram. I love this diagram. Stop saying this.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know, these podcasts with you are so precious, and I want that you talk more. Then I just like get off.
And my love, all is perfect in the moment. And also, as well, we were talking about this, that it's also nice to, all is good.
Okay.
All is calm.
You tell me when I'm talking too much. Then you'd be like, Faye, just stop.
Look, these guys are your community. They want to hear you more than they want to hear me. You know what I'm saying?
No. I built us, alien savages, to give them to you. They're actually yours. They actually don't like me. Don't you see that I'm actually a crazy guy? Like, what did I just talk about? Oh, I smoke DMT and everything is consciousness and it's shapeshift. It's like, this guy is I really reached this level when I watch my solo podcast and I can watch it through whatever lens. And when I watch a lens of like where mainstream is at, I am a lunatic. I am crazy. But when you get in the woke lens, I just know I'm just like really awake. But if you're not, then you're just like, I see how I'm like so perceived in like all the weirdest ways.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I'm just this now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just this now. So
one of the things I love most about you is so wildly authentic to who you are. And actually, if all of us were doing that, we would all be weirdos. And then the word weird would cease to exist, because it would just be understood that everybody would just be totally uniquely themselves, and then that's what's up, and that people don't necessarily form into a norm. And did you know...
That's what's happening right now.
Did you know that the word weird comes from the word word? W-Y-R-D. This is actually the origin of the word weird, and it means destiny. So to be weird is to embrace your destiny. And yeah.
But just
so
wait.
Thank you for being so authentically who you are.
Once the world is weird, I'm already hyper weird.
You
but
just gotta be on top. Always more.
Spiritual ego exposed. Dum dum dum. No, yeah, the easiest thing is just to be yourself. So it's so much harder to be someone you're not.
And this comes back to flow state, you know, and like really when you're living in this space of flow state, you do really flow with the true weirdness of who you are.
It just finds you.
I love this diagram of, this diagram of flow state, and it's discipline, surrender. And it's like this perfect mix of like discipline and surrender. You've seen this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, for me, especially with creativity, right? Creativity is my thing. It's like one of the biggest things that I've come to this earth to do, to share, to just play, you know, it's the way that I play and pray. And I see this with creativity. You do need this space, like discipline and surrender to really reach this sweet spot in between of just flow state where, you know, like the other morning I was sat on the piano and I'm playing every morning. Nowadays. Thank you so much.
Stop saying thank you.
Thank you so much for buying this piano.
But it's like the more you say it, the less it means, you know?
No,
Yes.
no.
No, but
Because I say it in moments that I really
yeah,
feel
okay,
it.
you're right. But then there are these people, and I taught them in the past, they were like, oh, thank you for pointing that out, that say it all the time, and then it loses meaning because they say it in a vibration of they don't feel worthy to receive it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
No, it really comes from a space of overflow. And I haven't thanked you in like a couple of weeks. So,
And then you do it in the podcast to make yourself look better. Oh,
like officially
exposed.
announcing, thank you for.
So,
No,
yeah,
but
what were you
really,
saying?
it's, yeah. So the gift that keeps on giving. That's why I gave you this bow, because it's the gift that keeps on giving. But
I don't want it.
but you look so cute with it on. So I've been playing this piano every morning, and so I start by playing. I watched this video of this total legend called Herbie Hancock. He's just a legend of music. Do you know this guy, Herbie Hancock?
Nope.
Oh, he's like this really old black dude, and he's a legend. He's a legend. And I was watching a video that he did on, I don't know, the piano, and I watched it out of curiosity one day, and he gave this one thing that it's a scale practice. And I just learned it, and I do this almost every morning, and I start by doing this masculine thing of discipline. I practice my arpeggios, and I do my scales, and this helps my fingers to move much faster. It helps my hands to feel the language of the piano and to effortlessly jump from one note to another without me thinking about it. It's like through the discipline, I'm training my body to be able to hold this wild energy of the feminine that's moving through, the creativity that's moving through, and to bring it in a way that it's more refined. So through this discipline, this masculine structure, I'm training my body. And then from this space, it opens a door for my hands to just start painting, I call it, to just paint and just flow across the keys. And in this space, a song just came out the other morning, and I'm just like, I'm watching my hands, and this for me is true flow state, and the state that I aim to reach, but is really the golden spot in creativity, where you are watching yourself painting, you're watching yourself singing, you're watching yourself doing anything, even washing the dishes. You realize that it's not you doing it, right? It's really this flow state. And I'm there and I'm painting, and I'm suddenly just watching my hands play Hallelujah. Da 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 da. Hallelujah. 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 And like, I'm just da 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 da, and I'm watching my hands, and I'm going, Faye, there's a song coming through my hands right now. And really this state, if I was just to go straight into painting on the piano and just letting my hands move, it would be a big hot mess. It would be feminine chaos without any structure that brings that refines the message and brings it through in a way that the human body, the human experience is like able to actually receive it. So I'd just be playing a bunch of mess, but it's through that door of the masculine that it just starts to
getting out of the way.
Go into that flow state, the balance of the two. This is really the biggest love affair of my life, is that with God through the art of making love and creativity. Also with you too.
Wow, you said it so well. Wow. Yeah, same with this podcast. Like, I'm like, are you excited? And you were excited. So like, you're not always excited. Like when it's actually like, there is something, and then I do set it up, Yeah, but then it's not just like in the past, or many people do podcasts to do it, And nowadays, like, I want to do a podcast, but I set it up, but it's like I need to watch YouTube or something before. Like I'm not like, the muse hasn't kissed me yet,
Oh,
so it's
beautiful.
like nowadays it's like, yeah, sure, I can always do a podcast any moment, but then it's just my physical mind talking, which is also nice, but I'm pulling something through, I'm channeling, I'm like, something wants to be birthed, however you want to call it. And I can like really feel the state, So then it's like the masculine, like, okay, I set it up to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but then like, what are we doing here right now? You know, you're pouring us tea. We're dropped in. And it's the balance of the two. You said it really well. I was like getting a lot of downloads about that. Just like it's so funny because we say exactly the same vibrationally, but really different, you know?
In different ways, yeah.
And I think it's great to do podcasts together to like get it from both sides, to like really like get it. Whoa.
The masculine and the feminine side that you would
Yeah. And not
and
like
the
I'm the
gold.
masculine, she's no, we have that both inside of us and balancing those two, like always these containers, like what we speak about, and not limit yourself. Like when I wake up in the morning, I so quickly go in this like, oh, what to do, you know? And then like and I love our mornings when like these mornings you play piano, I love doing handstand, you know? And I start like doing my handstand. But then I start to like really, you know, and then it's like we enter this flow.
The flow state.
And knowing that creativity is your way out. Like you are creativity. It's like you are creative. And you can put yourself in these weird boxes like society. You can be a robot. You can be an NPC and do what anyone else does. And that's what came when you talked.
Okay.
After ayahuasca, I was like so open, so awake that I had to share on my podcast the most unpredictable things. Like I couldn't really go on tangents that I already like my physical mind could perceive. Because if I do, I was freaking out because I already like could hold it all. Like if I would now, that's why I cannot do these podcasts. I have like so many gifts inside of me where I could speak about them. Like I'm gonna like what helps me to like last longer during sex. Like I did a whole podcast and it helped a lot, you know?
Oh, he does.
Or like about anything that is like about nutrition and stuff. But if I would do that now, I already can hold the whole podcast. And I'm sitting here and this walk in my higher self, like this awakeness in me that like walked through is bored as fuck. It's like, it feels like I'm harming myself. I'm like, if I don't know, if I would do a repetitive job for no reason, like, I don't know, it's like, it's just like, it's not what I meant to do. So if I can already predict what I'm saying, that's why these channeling states. I don't know what I'm saying next. So it's exciting for me. How exciting.
Yeah.
But if I say so, that's why with you I so often want to just record our conversations live because I channel something to you and it's so good and then I repeat and I'm like, Faye, you don't say it so well because you don't want to say it again. And at these days my ego is in check. Like I integrated it. I don't care about this would sound amazing. It's just like, no, I need to like awaken. I need to grow. I need to be myself, and this is like being in a state where the embodiment of that. So I can only channel because it's like how exciting. I don't know what's coming next.
And what a fun way.
So
to
after
know
ayahuasca, I was like
yourself.
often in the podcast like wanting to like say something like, oh, I say it in chronological order. Like all this is out. I cannot say something in chronological order.
All the mind.
Because it's all like the mind speaking.
Yeah,
and when
throw
the
that
mind, then like my walking is like, brah, get out of the way. It's like you're still like you get to enjoy it all. Like you're running this avatar, like you perceive the reality, so it's like it's a experience that is like tangible. It's great. Like you get to experience making love to Faye, all these things. It's you in the driver's seat. But get on the passenger seat. Like you're still like I mean you're in the car. Like you're like but
you
like,
are the car.
Yeah, I
you
am
are
the car.
the passenger.
But
You are the
the
you
soul
are the
is
driver.
coming through more and like really seeing that you are the soul. Exactly. That you are the soul. And just like getting out of the way. Like I saw so often on DMT, everything just flows and we just get weirdly in the way. So it's just getting out the way. And that's why like the last podcast is so much that, it's set up, but the muse hasn't kissed me yet. And then I watch like Mr.
darling,
Beast
I
or
love
something.
this.
And then it's like, apparently I need to like, and it's like right now this toxic masculinity train I'm like really exposing. So yeah.
The muse hasn't kissed
So there
me
is
yet.
something that wants to be born through us.
Yeah.
And this is like how like all these like powerful things in history of like Michael Jackson, this song, like these really spirit, you know, that came through. They went and everyone has it inside of them. It's like, are you allow yourself to channel that?
Yeah.
Or are you making what everyone else does?
Yeah, exactly.
Like use creativity, use social media to channel this through. And it's like, it might look nothing like anything that like my German podcast. Like I'm like, what is this? Like I'm playing all kinds of music. I'm making characters. I'm like being fully multidimensional of like all parts of me speak. And it's like a concert. And I hold the frame. So it's like adult Faye, you always balance it. But it's like, I don't know, anyone who does it like this, you know? And I yesterday had to stop the podcast because I could feel something new is birthing. And then physical mind jumped in like, oh, but you have something that worked. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not here to ride trains. I'm here to like build new trains so other people can ride them. And then once other people ride them, I build it. And yesterday was like building a new train. Wow, wow, because I can feel solid vibrations and I can really shapeshift into any vibration. And I want to do now a podcast, little spoiler in German, where I just do an open jam for like 1 to 2 hours and then I cut it to not have any continuity to which is great to like this is a living room and I talk about this and or we're just hanging out, but I know when I hit certain vibrations of like inner kid fully out and higher self. Like the inner kid and higher self is your ticket home, merging those two together. And I know when I'm like really on and I'm like, what if I do a whole podcast like that? Like cut these moments together. And it's not about anything, the podcast. It's just like, how would it feel to be an hour on this vibration? Because it's all like frequency. How does it, like, it's like opening things in us. And I have these moments where I like make people cry and like, okay, like I'm going to make an hour of this. Not every podcast. Like I want to hang out. I want to have it grounded. But every now and then, like, so this was birthing yesterday, and it's like, what is that even, you know? It's like, oh, I give him consistent vibration of, like, I'm like a solid truck, you know? I'm like, let's amp up dosage and let's stay on the peak.
What drug are you?
Yeah,
DMT?
like MDMA together with DMT. But like a DMT, that's why MDMA is like massaging you. Like, bro, I know we're like taking off and we're like fully in spirit, but it feels good. Like, no need to like freak out, like. Because DMT can like really crap you, you know? So there needs to be like this MDMA. I don't know. So I just like, and I don't know, like I just like, I get out of the way, you know?
This is the key. It's getting out of the way.
Like right now there like wants to rebirth something about creating community again, like in the 3D. And I just like, I puzzle it together, what I receive. I'm the observer, like this comes, I put it there, but I'm not like my physical mind like takes over of like, I do something now out of ego or the little downloads I have, but it's not timing. So it's so nice to be out of the way.
Out of the way so the soul can come through instead of the mind and the ego and all of the different things that we think we should be saying, doing, singing, making. And yeah, sometimes the essence. And sometimes what comes through, especially if it hasn't been done before, if it isn't known and if it isn't accepted, it can be really difficult to get out of the way to that point because we can really question it. Like, what is this? What is this sound I'm making? What is this thing I'm saying? What is this? And this is something that I think that you're really amazing at. Actually,
and
is
also
really trusting yourself.
Yeah, and also the big one, receiving all the hate, because people cannot grasp it yet, and they're like, but they purge it onto me. And this is where I also had to set the boundary, like, I'm not an ayahuasca bucket, and like turn my YouTube comments off and like disconnect from certain people, because they're putting all the projections out because they're in the way of grasping that. So like that's why I keep pulling the rebel card. Like in many alien savages, you're a fellow rebel, and it like comes with that, you know? That's why I need this intensity, because if I wouldn't have this intensity, I would, okay, I don't want to like make anyone uncomfortable. I'm like, we're living in a profoundly sick society. It's no measure of health to be well adjusted to that.
Yeah.
Raw! Wake up! I'm gonna get wake up guns. Wake up! Raise your vibration.
Wake up guns that are filled with puppies. Because this is what's going to wake people up, is bringing people back into the heart, out of the bullshit of me versus you and all of the story of separation, but actually coming into the heart. And puppies are amazing for that.
Yeah, exactly. So true.
Oh, I love this thing that you said. I love everything that you said, by the way. I really love everything that you said.
In this podcast, you mean?
No, just now, like everything you were
nice.
talking about then. No, it was really wonderful, yeah. And this one phrase that just keeps sticking in my heart is when you said Kissed by the muse. Oh, I love this so much.
Yeah.
No, it's so beautiful, and it's such a perfect way of describing that
Yeah.
feeling, right? And you feel the difference. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, the muse is here. I've been kissed by the muse. Yeah.
And the sentence came to me the other day when I did the last English podcast. I was setting it up, and you left, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do a like it's all set up. Like logically, it makes sense, but excitement is like you need to do other things, and I did like for 20 minutes other things that would be so judgeable by my physical mind. Like I'm in the dark room, everything is set up, like it's a beautiful day. Why are you watching like hate videos about Mr. Beast and stuff? And I'm like, no, but it's my highest excitement, and I don't judge it. And then I could feel this like intensity, and then I'm like, I turn the podcast off now, and I just feel intense about it, and go to the waterfall and shake it off. I was like, no, share this intensity, but I don't wanna shut up, share it, and I could feel excitement, and the muse kisses you.
Yeah, this is really the experience of coming out of the mind and into the body. And trusting the body as the intelligence that it is. Because there's like a whole thing happening down here. I love that you're just so good at following your excitement, you know? Because this is the thing, is that as a society, we have been so conditioned to live in this tiny little space up here. And I really love how it's described as it's like a room with no windows.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we have this big, beautiful world outside that is really infinite and magical and endless possibility, and really with the possibility of really being an experience of heaven on earth. And we have been conditioned to live in this tiny little room. It's like a really dark room, and we're fed scraps of food through this little tiny, this is what it's like living in the mind. And we don't even have a window. Maybe there's a little window sometimes, and we get a moment just to look out there, and this is what it is to live in the mind. And when we go through this experience of really dropping into the body, dropping into the heart, dropping into this lived experience of actually being human, and then something really beautiful happens. The mind ends up becoming the servant that it was always supposed to be. But the mind was never supposed to be in control, right? The mind was never supposed to be the boss of this entire planet that we're living on. And when we live from this space, and when I say planet we're living on, I mean the planet that is me, the planet that is you. It's like a whole ecosystem happening inside of here. And when we live in that space of the mind, our experience of reality becomes so manipulated. It becomes so twisted and distorted because we start living from, of course, the past. This is everything that we know, right? The past of ideas of how things should be, rather than the truth of the moment, which can only be felt actually as a lived experience in the body, which you describe as living from your highest excitement, right? What does it feel like when you're excited? For me, I really listen to my heart, and my heart gives me really clear signs of like when it's a yes. I get this like, it's like an opening. And this is my experience. I don't know what it is for you. My body's giving me all different kinds of things all the time. Yeah. It's like a something in my head. And it could even just be really subtle, especially if you're not so connected to your heart. It takes a while to really tap into this space, and it's like I could describe it as butterflies, but for me it feels like something opens and spreads across my chest, and then for a no, my heart just goes like twists a little bit, and and this is when we drop into that space of the body more, we're able to start making choices from truth, and by that I mean choices of the soul, choices that anchor actual divinity into this life, into our life, into all of our decisions, all of our interactions. And this is what it is to actually live by love, right? And not live by fear, to live by the heart and not live by the mind. And I find creativity is the best way of practicing this, of practicing actually dropping into that space and trusting and creating from the unknown, bringing something of yourself into this world in a way that you can look at it and see how fucking beautiful you are. Something that hasn't been created yet, right? Like you have with these podcasts. I really, it's wow, just one of the biggest subjects for me that just touches my heart so much is this. Yeah, being kissed by the muse, and in order to be kissed by the muse, you've really got to drop into your body.
Yeah, you said it all so well. It's so beautiful. What I always preach, you say same, but totally different. And I think this is like, we're understood by different people, but overall I think you are more understood. This is like one of my challenges, being understood, because I know how alien I am, how like where I come from to get there. And then I lose many people, you know. But I also know this is my way. And there are like many who also are this alien, but most people, I think what you just said makes so much sense, how you said it. But yeah, it's like for everyone the same. Like, and I don't want to explain the whole formula or follow your highest excitement, but like many people just so get it wrong. Or like, excitement is like jumping up and down like your hair. So it's like, no. It's like a word for what is the frequency, and like the whole formula. And the frequency is like this magnetic pull. It's literally your higher self guiding you. It's like bliss, joy, love. It just feels right. Like I love the scene in Harry Potter of where he drinks liquid luck, like Felicis. And it's like, and the highest, like it works like this. You just get like an image, a subtle. It's like a little kid on your shirt, on your skirt, like, hey, and it's so quiet. And if the mind is strong, you don't hear it. Like I get an image of like, go to Happy Beach. And then, of course, my mind comes in and like, probably to walk further to Naked Beach. But I don't get more. So I go there. It's my highest excitement. And then I bump into someone and my physical mind couldn't perceive that. It's like physical mind is not designed to. So just following your excitement and knowing you don't know. Yeah. You're not meant to know. That's why we're here, to unwrap Christmas gifts 24/7. It is in the unknown. That's where the rest of us resides. That's where we find ourselves more and more. And we cannot judge by what already exists, the past. That's why we gotta like be the pioneers. And every day, like what's happening right now? Like my visuals, like yesterday, like I was playing World of Warcraft and I'm like fully tripping the colors, and I look at my food and I was like, but I don't freak out because I know I'm pulling in the new. And it's like, I'm like, yeah, finally, you know? Yeah. Like our telepathy is crazy. And like we're there doing Osho cards this morning, and just like our like downloads, click, 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 click. And my dream comes and wow. And it's nothing like these past voices. I've like cleared them out because it was programming from my family, from my neighborhood, from society, like politicians, teachers, my boss. All these voices, all the same programming based on fear. Is like, but this doesn't work. Like, but how do you need to make money? Like all this is, I'm purged myself. I have a clean system. So now I'm like a kid that is guided, like how we all are, these kids, guided by our future selves, higher selves. And once this is like purged out, it's like constantly unwrapping Christmas gifts. And these times are actually so exciting because it's not another darkness timeline where we just live a normal life and get a little higher vibe, but it's still not it. No, it's like we remember, we awaken as a civilization, and magic, like true magic, becomes the norm. And it's like we are the godfathers, the godmothers of this new earth, where we clean up the earth and like shift it into love and ourselves and live in harmony, and our best friends are our neighbors, and we live in actual dropped in tribe. And expand to the stars and like our galactic families and all this like clean technology that is like a symbiotic relationship to us, to nature, to just get like all the limited stuff out of the way, because no one likes these limited jobs. It's like, that's why we get like AI to do these things. It's like, what is AI? It's all consciousness. It's like, imagine the best life ever, like really get in your imagination, and then times 100. I'm telling you.
This is what happens.
Times 100. Like every day I get downloads of like my limitation, my imagination was limited because I was only thinking to a certain point. And this is where, can you even think further to create the highest timeline, like this prolonged golden age we're shifting in? I'm already like not just thinking about, I live with my neighbors and like I'm like seeing these ceremonies we create, you know, of awakening the collective, the Shekinah event. But what then? You know, my imagination is already, then we shift in an earth where we meet other collectives on the same vibration. And this is the new, like, it's just like get in touch with your imagination, because everything is actually your imagination. You're dreaming right now, and it's time to awaken, because the biggest hell you live in is the hell you don't even know you're in. And this is the same what you said with this prison cell without a window. And if there's a tiny window, it's because you're getting out of your head for a moment.
Yeah.
The biggest hell you're living in is the hell you don't even know you're in.
Yeah.
But look at my garden, and it's perfectly trimmed, and the fence, it's white, like no spot. You live in a fake world. Yeah, 3D, you have it like put together to like, but it's like, look inside your head. You're full of fear, and it's eating you alive, and you have a horrible experience where you're like so stressed, so worried, anxiety to the max. And I'm not talking about you alien savages, you get it all. I'm talking about like the old world where we like got programmed in and awakened. And so it's really nice to be on the other side, you know, like notice this, like all that remains is gratitude, you know.
Yeah, another
like
key to the heart as well.
Speaking about it, I was like, oh yeah, I made it. We made it. We're the survivors. We made it in this timeline. Like we won't fall asleep
there
again.
There are always deeper ways to step out of the prison that we have been incarcerated in, and there's like always deeper ways. But yes, definitely outside of this.
I mean, it's all like we're just waking up to a bigger matrix. Like not like I love the matrix, but like fear is so low vibe. Negative ego is so low vibe. It's like we have raised our vibration that this is just like not serving us in any way anymore. That's what I mean. Like, sure, we're waking up now to a bigger matrix. Like, we're still dreaming, waking up to a bigger dream of like extraterrestrials exist, the cosmos, like everything is less limited, but like we're still dreaming because awake. Did I talk in my English podcast? I think I check out my latest English podcast because I spoke about that a lot.
This experience of living in the mind, and it's like not only do we start to be controlled by fear and the past and the worries of our future and all of this stuff that doesn't actually belong to us, by the way. It's really interesting when you look deeper into thoughts and when you become more aware of your thoughts, and awareness is key, right? This is the one thing that we know, that awareness is key. You start looking at these and you notice that they're not actually yours. The mind is like this antenna that is tapping into this collective frequency and a lot of the collective thought forms that are happening in the world. So these thoughts of I'm not good enough and what if it's an antenna of something that we start to receive, and you just become aware of thoughts and when they're coming in and how they're coming in, and you start to notice that actually that is not mine. It is not mine. And not only do we become so limited in our experience of believing the fear, right? Because the mind, it works on survival in so many ways. We are also unable to actually receive life, to actually receive people. You know, like the image that I get when I think of people in their mind is it's like people walking around with this big bubble around their head and like meeting people, you know, and sometimes I've actually seen it, that two people will meet and they're having a conversation, you know, and they're like talking to this bubble.
Yeah.
But both of them, they like think that they're talking to each other, but actually they're not.
Yeah.
And this person's speaking to their mirror of projections, and this person is this, and
it's so funny.
living inside of this mind construct, you know, and like everybody's just walking around with these bubbles over their heads and not actually connecting. And you know, when you have these moments when you're really in the heart. When you're really in the heart and you look somebody in the eyes, and you listen with even more than your ears, you listen with your heart and every cell of your being, and you receive someone truly. And this is what is up beyond all of the stories that we have. And it's also the same for life as well. Also the same for life, not just the people that we interact with, but the places that we visit, and when we really step out of this bubble, out of this prison, out of this room with no windows, we are able to really actually receive life, like really experience life. And I think that this is the biggest gift that we can give ourselves. Yeah, it makes me very sad because we're living in heaven on earth. Really, when you drop into this space and you live the liquid luck like Harry Potter does in that scene, I love that reference. You live heaven on earth. This is heaven on earth, and we all have access to this. We all have access to this experience. It is our divine birthright to enjoy this earth as the heaven as it was. created to be. I know that it's a subject with many different facets that we won't go into, but it makes me sad to think that there are people that reach their deathbed and haven't actually received this life and have stayed in this matrix prison incarceration.
Yeah, I really wonder if I had timelines like that where I like stood asleep.
Yeah.
Like stood, is that a word? Where like stayed asleep.
Stayed asleep, yeah.
Where, because now I cannot fathom it because I'm just this, you know? And I was always this in this timeline. And others I connect to, it's like I'm always like woke as fuck. I haven't connected to a timeline where I'm like, oh, I'm just like wide asleep and there is no judgment. Like a quote unquote normal timeline isn't less than a like awakening, a spiritual timeline. It's like it's great. Like both, like eventually I want to have a break from being awake. So I'm a horse, and or I'm just like having so many in the Matrix are happy as fuck. Like not many, like most I would say are not, but
Not truly happy, no.
some have like a family and a dog and do a job that they love, and they just live a normal life and nothing comes up about awakening. It's just about their kids, about their dog, about their work, about working with other people and just sharing like presence about. But being asleep, it's. But most people are not. So, but yeah, what you all just said, I loved it. Like this.
Yeah, it's really precious, and family is another really big key, right? There are these things that really bring us into our heart, even if we're living in this matrix structure.
Yeah.
Things like animals, things like children are a really big portal into
food,
feeling,
cooking.
Yeah, feeling the purity of your heart. You know, when you look in a child's eyes, it's very difficult to be in the head with a child. The moment that you interact with a child and they feel you in your mind, they just won't even engage with you, you know? The children are so in the hearts because this is how we came in. And through family, through sitting down with family and sharing a beautiful meal. And it's another beautiful way of being in the heart. Yeah.
But yeah, what you all shared was really wow.
Yeah, and you know, it's just one little piece, one little piece that I wanted to add because this is what I was journaling.
I want to add something.
Yeah.
Okay, say.
Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
Just, this is something that I was journaling on yesterday, day before yesterday, or whenever it was, but really the power of choice, the sacred fucking power of choice, and how really every choice that we make, it's our key to whether we anchor the mind in fear or whether we anchor the heart and love, the soul. Let's say we anchor the ego or we anchor the soul. And in every moment, in every little choice that we make, every little choice, and even the choice of the thoughts that we choose to entertain in our minds, right? And I'm speaking to myself as I'm saying this because I can really let my mind run rampant sometimes. And really the choice of what thoughts we allow ourselves to entertain, the choice of what time we get up in the morning, the choice of whether we go to the waterfall, the choice of whether we sit down to make this podcast right now, ultimately the choice of whether we choose to follow our highest excitement in its purest form or whether we choose to give into the mind and fear and ideas on, this and this and that. And the sacred power of our choice. And this is the key. Our choices that we make, this is the key that helps us to carve a little door in this room and get us out. And more and more to get back out into that. Really, it's the choices that we make.
It's called free will because without free will, we're just unconditional love. We're pure spirit. We're like non-physical. We are the fabric of all that is. We're all our unique identity. We're all like a little puzzle piece of the fabric of all that is. Home, spirit, non-physicality. And in order to not be that fully, we get like free will. And with the free will, we can I cannot follow my joy. I can but nowadays it's like, when you really awaken, at this point, I'm like, how much free will do I actually have? Because I'm too awake to, everything else is self-harm to the soul. Like my soul walked in so much that now I just am myself. So my free will is kind of only used these days for fulfilling my life theme in what I call a cool way, where I make it cool and swaggy, I know myself and where it's going, and I'm gonna have so much fun walking that down, but I want to make it cool, how these other enlightened masters, Buddha, I love him so much, but he was just meditating there, you know, a lot. And he went like, when you're meditating, you're like home. But I like these days, I'm so in a meditative state 24/7. But I make it from, and he would watch me and he like, this guy is dumb. But for me, playing World of Warcraft is so cool. But I'm like fully meditating. But I just like fill my void with a lot of colors. Like I'm sitting cross-legged on my scooter, driving through a tropical island with beautiful women and horses and dogs. And there's the stars up, and I'm just like driving, listening to music. Like music is filling the void so, but I'm like in such a meditative state. So it's like my free will is now only being used of like I fulfill my destiny in a way that is like cool. But like when you're not that awake, you like that's what you're being in your way with like with your choices, you know, by like with all the programming. I mean, I don't know, could you follow me what I said?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So yeah, but that's what I mean. You said it so well. You said it so
yeah,
well.
and really being in that meditative state, because this is something we can fall into as well, right? Of like, I'm going to meditate in the morning for 1 hour.
Yeah.
And this is amazing. This is also really good. But it's not good when you go about the rest of your day just like...
Yeah.
And I love, that you...
And following your joy, following your highest excitement is an active meditation, 24/7.
Exactly.
It's not like... We're doing this podcast now, yeah, and what vibration are we? It's really meditative. It like reminds people to find their center.
1:11 on the clock.
Bam. And after this podcast, it's now like I go unconscious and I do something unconscious. No, I'm too. We're all like, you're watching. We're too awake. We are here and now. We're aware. We're present. We reach a vibration where everything is a meditation. And the form of free will is just like, yeah, let's make it cool, you know? Like this like these things that I can feel coming up. I wanna like every moment, I just like wanna make it like mic drop, you know? Like so often I have like moments with like, oh, this was mic drop. And then I have moments where like, at the ending, like just small things. Like I am myself. It's authentic. Like I was at the night market in Shellercombe. I saw Luca and Sarah and their baby. Like she's pregnant. And we had such a gold. And then how I left the conversation, because then there was like Vicky and Sahara, and how I switched over to them, I didn't make so cool. It was more like, and now I see them, you know? And then, but I really, I'm too awake. I realize everything. I process everything in the moment. And I'm like, I could have done a way cooler exit. And then sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like, it's like in spirit, everyone is high-fiving me. Like, bro, how you like walked out the sauna and made a joke and the energy shift and everyone is laughing and you left and you're out and it's bam. It's like a music. Everything is a song, you know? And sometimes they're like rusty scene that are still like, I sing my song. I don't sing other songs anymore and pretend. I sing my song. Everything is authentic at that point. But like, is it like, do you get goosebumps? Are you like your antennas like going up and like, whoa, and it's bouncing and my head is bouncing and bop, 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 bop. Like these satisfying moments, you know? Yeah, and I have these a lot, and this is what I live for. I'm like, if my podcast ain't that, it's trash. And that's like my last, I did 3 English podcasts now solo. The latest one, great. The 2 before, weren't that. And that's why I'm like, it's great because it's me and people get something out of, because I was excited. So it was like, higher self, something wants to get through. But how I could do it with my free will, it wasn't mic drop. But still people loved it, you know, because it's me and there's something for them. Because if you're resonating with me, I'm maybe one of your guides. But how, like in German, I'm already like, I'm on a tangent here, am I? But could you follow what, did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. It really is. It feels like music.
Yeah.
Following your highest excitement and being in the liquid luck state of Harry Potter. It feels like music, and it's so true, you know, when you're in this space and your heart is open and you go and speak to people and maybe your voice even becomes a little bit of a song as you're speaking. And, you know, when you meet someone and then like you play music with them through speaking and you go and you have this beautiful, like us when we first met, right? It was like music. Yeah. It was so beautiful, and this is what it feels like. And then the mind comes in and it's like...
was this too much? Was this joke okay?
Awkward, and it stops the music, you know, like when I'm playing the piano and then I hit a wrong note and then I'm using the mind to try and find the right note and just instead of just relaxing and just going back into the river again and going back into the music of living. This is exactly what it feels like to be in that state. Yeah.
Wow.
And look, we are music. We are music.
Yeah.
Our heart is literally beating a steady rhythm in every single moment. The way that we have the opportunity to really bring that music and to embody it in everything that we are and do. And this is exactly what it feels like. It feels like music. It feels like harmony.
And that's what I
Yeah.
immediately loved about you, that I could fully play the highest rap, because many people cannot receive me.
Yeah, your music is
I give
rap.
them a joke that is like, of course it's like nice, you know, but they haven't like unprogrammed themselves, and insecurities come in, and they still have like some sexual trauma, and I cannot talk about sexuality because my vibration is safe. It's like, but can I go there? And with many people I can't. So I'm like censoring myself a little, you know, to help them heal or whatever. But with you, we opened up like in like Instagram, we sent like voice messages, and then quickly went to WhatsApp and voice message, and I was like saying something like inappropriate, like, you know, and seeing like testing the waters, you know, and you're like jumping on it, you know, and I'm like, oh yeah, now we can talk, okay, and now we're here, and I can actually be real that I find you hot, but it's not creepy or anything. I'm just like, yeah, I find you really hot, and I would love to make love to you under the moonlight at the waterfall.
You did. Oh, I
yeah,
remember.
and I just say it, and it's like it's not creepy
straight
at all
up.
or anything. But with many, like,
Yeah.
oh, because they got bad experiences, and then they haven't had a safe experience yet. We're like, hey, I'm not nothing like that, and they haven't healed yet. So I'm like, oh, I come down here, censor myself. I don't bring any jokes about sexuality, because they get. But then it's like, I'm a rapper, bro. I wanna like ba 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 ba, and I can only be like A B C D E F. I'm like, nah. I'm not. I'd rather go to talk to
You're
the
like
puppies.
HIJK.
I go and scream at nature. No, do heavy metal. I'm just a demon in disguise.
Now I know my ABCs.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Won't
whoa,
you come
whoa,
and
whoa,
sing
whoa, whoa,
with
whoa, whoa.
me?
Wow, I love our podcast. Like, just you. Like, I feel like I make the potato hot, throw it at you, and you like marinate it, and while you do that, I get like completely new downloads. Like you said
Nice.
something earlier, and I was like, whoa, this like brought something out of me. Like a deeper understanding of my intensity, because I could feel it. Like earlier, I was saying something, and I got intense. And usually my intensity, people overall like, because it's like it's pure balance. It's like what I'm saying is truth, but I sometimes get too intense, and then I could really feel you were saying something. Oh, I'm too intense because it's like internal frustration, and I like I don't wanna, like, when I say something like pure, I don't wanna, like, this is where I have like a challenge with receiving Rion, for example, from United Collective. So too much intensity, because he puts also his frustration in it.
Yeah.
Instead of speaking his frustration then. Like now we go on the
Yes.
human level in my pain body, and yeah, one of my big shadows, my big frustration is being so alien, being like so far, and being hardly like receivable, and not having many friends that are like, this is like one of my big frustrations. And I like sometimes put that in my like, and then I like, oh, why didn't I fully, because it's like, wake up, like this comes in, you know, wake up, wake up, wake up,
Yeah.
wake up. I want to just shapeshift, and you get it, you know, like, and then it's nice to speak that itself,
Yeah.
but not combined with like something that actually like opens the heart. Then I'm like a little piercing.
Intensity is such a gift. Intensity is such a gift.
But
And
also,
you're right, it's like when it holds the frequency of frustration, it's like a fire, right? For me, intensity, it's a fire. And then when it comes in,
Yeah.
like a flamethrower, like a burn and things all
Yeah.
over the place, it can be obviously, but with great power,
yeah, it needs to be really well
becomes great.
channeled,
Yes.
like really well pointed to, like, I can like, "Rah!" and it's like everyone, look, a firework, like we will look at it
Yeah,
together.
Fireworks.
Or it's just
beautiful.
like hit someone with it. And they're like, oh, bro, I'm like bleeding.
Yeah, and you just hit the nail on the head. You know, it's the frequency underlying the intensity that determines how it actually lands. But intensity itself is such a gift. It's such a gift, and something that is really
Yeah.
needed.
Because often I see someone that I'm like, yeah, low-key judging, because I'm frustrated about it. But instead of like, and then I like channel it, like fronting them through my intensity talk about something in general. But it's actually pointed towards them. Instead of like filtering that out, like first like, brah, bigger picture, you would be him, see yourself in him, and just stay at your blade and focus this intensity. Because when I focus it on me, in a way, and this is like also like such a fine line of not putting yourself down. After ayahuasca, I did it a little of like putting myself down. And it's so easy because everyone loves it. Now we can connect in victim. Like, no, I stay in my power. Fine line of like pointing something at you, not victimhood, and not ego of like pointing it at you, being better. It's a really fine line. So I can just like, I feel energies, and I could, in this podcast, I'm like, oh, I'm a little too intense, and people still love it because there's something good. But when you speak, you don't have that. And like, you open my heart, and I'm like, and it feels good to stay heart open, you know? So, yeah, this is maybe why you also sometimes close your heart a little, because I get too intense, and I don't want to be that anymore.
I love you.
Oh, I love you too. And higher self, next timeline, I want to wake up through the heart, not the mind, because everything is like, I was waking up through the mind, definitely. Like, I was living in my own world. I was like being in a little prison cell often, and eventually woke up, you know, through this. Was great, but next time I kind of want to wake up through the heart, you know?
Yeah, I feel like they're two separate awakenings in a sense. But yeah, I really hear you. Yeah, because,
And it's so nice how you like describe this, like how you see like people around. What did you say?
It's
They
like
have
a bubble.
Yeah.
It's like, look,
and you know what I
looks
see?
like a bubble. You know?
I see like a lot of text. Like I see people,
really?
and there's like so much text in it. Like I see visuals so strong, and some are even like, bro, there's everything full of text. Like this one guy, he's like, he reminded me of my past self, and I bumped into him in the Xantiva sauna, and I was like, hey, you want to come to this? Or he was like, I don't know if I want to stay here or like leave the island. And I was like, what's your excitement? And like, oh, I'm going to go home and journal now for 2 hours. I'm like, bro, I see here so much text. Like in this moment, what are you more excited? But he couldn't answer it, you know? And I just like, so yeah, this was great. Even though I wanted to talk about something completely else.
But isn't that the beauty
but I wanted
flow? Is we want to talk about something, and the mind might have an idea, but actually something
on Christmas,
completely organic comes
I wanted to tell them, I wanted to flex with my amazing girlfriend.
Tell me, my love.
That Faye holiday yesterday, well, I played World of Warcraft. What did she do? And she met God big time. So tell them.
Oh,
because that's the thing. I kind of still, like, I show my life on social media. I meant to. And also there is the satisfaction of like, yeah, I'm a symbol of like I'm living a great life, and it feels good, you know. I like sharing it. Like, look, it's inspiring, but also look, you know.
Yeah.
I'm here doing a handstand, she's playing the piano. Look, and you yesterday evening, and you don't share it. Like that's why now flex. So Faye holiday went to a gathering.
I went to a gathering. It was really beautiful. We started talking about this at the beginning. We're out of tea now. Yeah.
Okay.
Started talking about this at the beginning.
But only if you want to share it.
Yeah, why not? You know, we find ourselves back at the beginning.
Yeah.
We are at the end
Full
of this
circle.
podcast, and we find ourselves where, of course, back at the beginning. Isn't that what always happens?
Yeah.
Just always come back to the beginning. And we'll finish with a little fireside Christmas tale of a magical man that lives at the top of a hill and has somehow found a piece of land that is not surrounded by construction, is not surrounded by the madness that is happening on this island at the moment. It's so silent. Really, like even the crickets are silent up there. And it was an adventure to get up to the top of this. It was such an adventure. I arrive and there's this steep hill that's just filled with rocks and dirt, and I had no shoes on, and it was a thing to even get to the top. And I arrive and there's just like maybe 10, 12, 15 of the most magical beings that I know of this island surrounding a fire on this huge plateau, what is the word for it? But this huge space overlooking with the most amazing views, so high up, and really you stand on the edge of it, and it's like standing on the edge of the world, you know? And you look down and there's all of the lights that almost look like the stars in the sky, but down below, and you can see and hear the sea a little bit. And everyone's just, surrounded, sat by the fire, singing Christmas songs. And we had a little bit of Silent Night. We had a little bit of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Until the Russians got very bored. They got very bored because they do not know these English songs. So we started playing around a little bit. And it was just such a beautiful evening of eating many strawberries, drinking the kombucha that a friend of mine made. She makes the best kombucha. And just really connecting through the heart, talking about being in this heart space with people. And there aren't normally many words needed in this space. And it's all done through song and just connection and really, 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 really good hugs. And so the Russians got a little bit bored. And one of them, a really magical man, who actually owns this big villa on top of the hill and this piece of land. And he offered to sing a song of, the Lord's Prayer. Do you know the German version of this? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is. You know this? In German? Is there a German version of it? There must be.
There must be. I don't know.
So apparently there's a Russian version of it.
Lieber Vater im Himmel, mein Wille geschehe. I think something like this.
Wow.
Kind of impressive, right?
Yeah.
I was totally wrong.
Oh,
I was just like, but that's the thing, like, I'm a building comedian. People think I'm that. Like, I feel like people think I'm a little dumber than I am because I make them laugh on purpose. Like I said, like, Lieber Vater im Himmel, and of course I know it's not like that. It's like something like unser. It's like, it means like dear dad. It's like
dear daddy.
Yeah, but it's like
dear daddy.
Like I feel like this is just like a thing. I take the hit to make people more laugh and open. Like humor is like once you're like really awake, you just be humor because it is like it opens, So, anyways, it's just like I'm just like in my own multidimensionalness, and I can talk forever now about this. But you tell, like,
no, it's
I don't know the whole version.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so the Russian guy, he offered to sing it, and because we're just singing a lot about Jesus, I love Jesus. I really love Jesus. I do. And because it's Christmas, we're singing a lot about Jesus, and so he goes to do the Lord's Prayer in Russian. Oh, and it was this really sincere, beautiful song. It was so beautiful. And then another dear friend, Yanon, who is half Yemeni and half Israeli, he starts singing the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic, which is the language that Jesus spoke in. Actually, he starts singing the Lord's Prayer. And then he says to us, he's like, well, what about the Lord's Prayer in English? Does anybody know it? And so we end up rapping the Lord's Prayer, actually. Our Father who art in heaven.
What up?
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, for we forgive those who trespass against us, and deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Forever, ever,
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 ever, ever, ever, ever, ever, ever, ever, ever.
forever. Let's take a deep breath. We haven't taken one deep breath in this podcast. Fully exhale. And inhale for the deep breath. Yeah, that's so cool. So were you also freestyling?
Of course
rapping?
I was.
Yeah?
Yeah, just like that.
Nice.
And there were three of us who were rapping it and singing it, and it turned into a big old song of on earth as it is in heaven, on earth as it is. And it's like funny and it's fun and it's playful, right? It's using the inner child, but also it is anchoring some very beautiful blessings, some very beautiful frequencies, and it is an active prayer. All of us were praying that night, constantly last night. And this is my favorite way to spend time with people, to play and to pray. So it was a really beautiful evening. Yeah, this is how I spent Christmas. Oh, I wish you were there.
Pray and play.
Play and pray.
We don't go to PP play parties anymore, even though something in my ego still would love to, which I'm purging out, and it's great, but not serving me right now. I go now to PPs, which are play and
It's a play and pray party. It's
pray.
A play and pray party. Not a play party, but a play and pray party.
So a PPP.
PPP.
Come to the PPP club.
Come to the PPP. Yeah.
Wow, this was
Well,
really
we're gonna
nice.
play and pray.
You were like, let's do a little podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna
Maybe
play and
just
pray,
half
and
an
it's
hour.
been one and a half hours.
One
Wow.
and a half hours.
Well, the tears ran out.
The tears run out, and I am run out.
I am run out. The tears run out. So
And I didn't
we're
drink
gonna
any
go and
coffee,
see
like
some
decaf or anything.
puppies.
Yeah, but it feels so good. Like I really, it's like these are like the things we're like, oh, really? Like coffee was like one of my remaining drugs, or my only remaining one, and it was serving me. But now I really, I'm already like off now for a good week, and I don't feel like I can go back because I'm just really sensitive. But now even not drinking like this little decaf or like a strong matcha before, this felt like really good because like, yeah, Ferdi, your intensity is always there, but for balance, you need to come more from the heart. And for that, be more sober, like no caffeine, like or little, and not like, so I'm like, but it feels good temporarily, but then you have a big crash and,
Yeah, I mean, also there's like, we can get high on life instead of coffee. What about if we get high on life?
But on coffee, you really have this like, this moment where you're like high for a little bit, where like, you're waking up, and you drink it and like, I am beautiful, everything makes sense, and I can do whatever I want. And I was like using it like, because it helped me to like, on this feminine island, to like still have my masculine and go to the gym, even if I like wasn't so much a gym day, but still like, but then like these crashes now overall, it's just not so much serving me anymore. And of course, if you're drinking coffee, that's great. Like I'm just like, I got so sensitive. Like in the past, it was serving me greatly. And who knows, next week, maybe back on the juice. But just speaking for like right now.
Well, how about we go and treat ourselves to a decaf bubbas?
So the devil. She is Lucifer.
Don't you see my horns?
Oh.
And these really cute little ears. I love these
let's
things,
treat ourselves now. I'm kind of hungry.
Let's treat ourselves and go and have oh, my love. It's Christmas. It's Christmas for me. And it's Christmas.
So this podcast was great, right?
Yes.
Like a podcast is always great, also like for your own mental health, because you're just putting yourself in alignment, It's like, I said in the other podcast, what are you doing? We're waking ourselves up. We're like,
oh, do you know what? We're coming in to be kissed by the muse. I'm showing up, and if the muse wants to come and give me a good old smooch, I'm here, and I feel like we've been
a lot
fucked
came
by
through.
the muse.
Yeah. Oh my God,
We've been
fucked us good.
Oh, she fucked us
She fucked us so good. Like a lot came through. Like, oh my God. Now let's make love. Okay, check out Faye. Check out her solo. Oh wait, they're not out yet. Dum dum dum. Maybe next year. Kidding. No, she's gonna start whenever the muse is kissing her. So yeah.
Yes. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I feel like you have the lower voice and I the higher.
I do. Oh, but actually, this is the same for our evil laughs, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, can we do an evil laugh contest?
Okay.
Okay, if you've watched this far, please vote who you think has the best evil laugh. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know if it's authentic because I actually am evil when I do it.
Yeah,
but then it's like this joker. It's like, no, it's like I don't know. Yeah, do it. You do it.
No. But
something like this. It comes like out like really strongly. But now it's like I don't have something where like.
Yeah, it's really hard to fake it. Exactly, you can't fake it. You can't fake it.
But I just kind of need to think about something where I like someone Schadenfreude, where someone isn't so awake and is doing like weird loops, and I just like force them to awakenness, and then I like and then they're like going through the shit, and I'm like looking at them, and I'm like, oh, it's like, of course this is not the way because I'm coming from ego and I'm not better than them or anything, because I'm like forcing them to awake and getting like joy out of their like suffering. Like obviously it's just like. Anyways, it's a whole other podcast. This was like a big download. I also like decoded recently that I'm gonna go do these ceremonies, the shapeshifting, but I cannot come in any way. Like I have to fully integrate my ego. I cannot have this like, I'm gonna awaken you and I enjoy this, like that they're like facing it, Like how like, I think ayahuasca had to come to the point where she's like, not having Schadenfreude, where she's just doing her job.
I don't think ayahuasca has Schadenfreude.
Yeah, and that's because it's the way, and this is like, that's hindering me, so I need to like purge it out. But then when I allow myself these moments, and of course I play it all through my imagination, I have these moments, I'm like, yeah. And then quickly I'm like, oh, this isn't the way, because it's like, I'm just like another loop. It doesn't lead to like anything. It's just a loop.
So give me
No,
give
it's not.
me.
It's not.
You got it?
I tried it. So you do it now.
Okay.
You do it.
Mine is like, and this is the thing. Yours is like a high one, and mine is like a.
You see? Now you know who's like in
Who's
charge
really,
in this
who's
relationship.
really more evil.
Yeah, she's so evil. Like,
And on
it's
that note,
people. I'm just like big show. So I'm the problem kid. I'm just so nice. You know, I'm just like the nicest dude
he is
ever.
really nice.
And you're just like all love and light.
Secretly evil
Yeah.
behind the scenes. Duh.
Wow, I'd love to read children's books.
So many characters.
Uh-oh. Let's see where this goes. So yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
1 hour and 35 minutes.
I'm happy you exposed yourself.
Yes.
So finally all these likes on your stories can go away because she gets so many likes.
That's going to be the clickbait title that you choose for this.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Faye finally exposes
Yeah.
herself. Yeah, there you go.
Like first appearance of yours was like, she exposed me as a narcissist and now I exposed
I
you
expose her.
as a dark witch.
A dark witch.
The sacred, what is she called?
The Wicked Witch?
The one
The Wicked
from
Witch of the
Marvel.
West?
The one from Marvel, like when she goes...
Wonder,
yeah, but her like the Scarlet Witch or something.
Scarlet
Anyways,
Witch. Okay.
this is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like it, then give it a thumbs up. And yeah, check out Faye. Follow her. She's doing stories recently, quite
Yeah.
more than. Yeah. Okay, this is over.
Is this your foot? That's your foot.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
Thanks for listening. Until
Merry
next time.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Peace out.